to the Temple Without Boundaries. And we're here for Winter Solstice 2014. This is an event that I've led a couple of times in a more physical arena, and it's born out of my own personal study and the way that I come into this time of year. I think of it as a very private, sort of personal time of year, and I always do a lot of internal work at this time of year. And quite a few years ago, I was invited by a very good friend of mine, Sienna Newcastle, who ordained me in a Temple of Magic in Vancouver, Washington. And she asked me to do this ceremony in public for the first time. And that was a beautiful experience. There were probably 100, 125 people there. And so this is a variation of that experience, which people found to be very exciting. So let me do a little walkthrough, get you oriented to what we're doing today. And we're going to be mostly audio for the main part of this ceremony. And then towards the end, there will be a couple of points where I will open up the lines and ask people to chime in, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to hear people. Right now I'm in listen-only mode, so I have to do a couple switcheroonies with the way this meeting works to be able to hear people. And so there'll be a time when I'm asking us to make sounds together as a community. And so hopefully the technology will support that. And then at the end of the ceremony, we'll turn the recording off, and that'll be a time. So I know the end time of the ceremony was a little bit ambiguous. So the recorded main part of the ceremony is definitely going to be ending right at the half an hour, so an hour and a half. And then I'll keep the lines open. And what we do when we're in a physical location is that we have some cakes and wine. So we go ahead and drink and eat, and it helps ground the energy, but it's also a wonderful time to be participating with community. So my intention is that I'll have all the lines open and we can share with each other at that time. So what I'm going to do is kind of run through the layout of the ceremony. So we're first going to go into kind of a meditative state, and then we're going to enter into the vibrational container of the Temple Without Boundaries. And I'm very excited about that. She's given me some inspirations about what to tell you when we go into that container. And we'll be forming a circle in our virtual world. And then we'll be doing some invocations. So I sent out a little note to people where you would be able to do some internal and external preparation. And when we do the invocations, that'll be a time for you to call upon any spirit helpers, gods, your one God, however you like to work spiritually. This is a non-denominational temple, so all divine beings, all spirit helpers are welcome here, and it'll be an opportunity for you to call in all of the beings that you like to work with. So we'll be calling 7 directions and a few other things, and then you'll have that opportunity. Then we're going to go into a journey. We're going to go very deep in this journey because we're at the longest day of the year is also kind of what I consider, if you think of the ebb and flow of a year, I think of this as the darkest ebb. We're at the darkest moment, and we're actually also joined by a dark moon right now. So if your energies have been a little bit low, if you've been feeling introverted when everybody else around you seems to be caught up in a Christmas flurry, holiday flurry of activity, it's no wonder. It's to me, very natural and normal to be feeling introverted and internalized at this time of year. And that's why I had a little challenge when I did this ceremony publicly for the first time. So we'll be going and spending some time in that darkness. And in that darkness, we're going to be releasing what we don't want to bring with us into the year 2015. We're going to have that opportunity to just let go of any baggage. A lot of people had a tough year last year. So the goal here is to really empty ourselves out and make ourselves a clear and pure receptacle to receive the new back in. And so we'll have a turning point moment when we'll be invited to bring the new back in, and that's when you will have an opportunity to think of the intentions. That was the second. These were preparations that I recommended you do in advance. What would you like to release? And then what would you like to receive? What are your hopes and dreams for 2015? What will bring you joy? What will lighten your heart? What do you really, really wish for with all sincerity to come to you in 2015? So we'll be doing that. And then as we bring in that new energy, this is the light coming in as we go into the turning point at this time of year. We go from the darkness into the light as the days get longer. That's why this is such a wonderful time to do this type of ceremony. We'll be using that light to bless ourselves and bless our intentions and fill ourselves up and to fill our families, fill our communities, and just fill and fill and fill to overflowing. And in that process, the process that we'll be doing that is raising energy and using a Wiccan tool called a cone of power. And there'll be a diagram on a slide. Well, I'll have a few slides as I go along. It's not 100% audio, but kind of just milestones in the slides. And there's an image of this double cone of power. So it's kind of a point at the top and a point at the bottom with a circle around the middle. And we're that circle in the middle. So we'll be charging ourselves, charging the cone of power, which then raises energy for our intentions to come true. And there'll be a moment when there's a pregnancy of that cone of power, and it will just naturally feel like it's ready to fly away. And so this is, again, a Wiccan type of ceremony component. And the prayers will get sent to our gods and goddesses who are listening and get sent into the earth, and then they'll be made manifest in that way. So we'll be doing that together. I'm going to take us all off mute, and we'll have an opportunity to make some noise together at that time as well. So we'll settle down from that, and I have a beautiful song to play for you as we go into a grounding, and then we're going to go into just a closing phase of the ceremony and come back out of the darkness and be reunited as a circle and as a community. And then I'll wrap up and close out, and then turn off the recording, and we'll have that community time that I mentioned at the beginning. So I'm very, very excited to share this with you. And so let's go ahead and get started now. So I want to have you please go inside and take a deep breath. And I'm going to be changing the way the screen looks again. I'm going into the slide mode. Fill this up. Okay, so take a deep breath now and begin to into your comfy, cozy spot that you made for yourself to have an uninterrupted time in this wonderful ceremony space. Take some deep breaths, connect in with your body. Begin to calm your mind. Let the oxygen flow really freely and comfortably. So I'm going to begin to ask you to use your imagination now. And imagine that you're in a beautiful open field. And the light is maybe a little bit dim, but there's enough starlight for you to kind of tell where you are. So we're in this open field, and there's maybe trees around, and you start to notice that there are other people with you in this field, and you're all just appreciating a beautiful night under the stars. And you start to recognize that there is a camaraderie there's a sense of family with the people that you're in this field with, and you laugh and smile and greet them. You know you're anticipating a wonderful experience together here. And so you all begin to turn and look and notice that there is a big, beautiful building nearby. It's very ornate, and it's so big you can't even perceive the size of it. It just stretches as far as you can see, as far as you can perceive. And it's time to begin walking towards this building now. And then collectively as a group, with a sense of anticipation, we approach this building. It may take a little while. Come up upon the beautiful stone pathway, walkway, patio in front of this beautiful building, which as you get closer, you can tell it has a sense of presence to it. And you become to recognize it as a temple. And as you get closer, you notice the stairs, and you have just enough light to safely climb the stairs and ascend and rise and land on the porch of this beautiful temple. And you recognize these ornate doors, gorgeous doors that they seem to be 20 or 30 feet tall, just huge. And as you become nearer to the doors very silently and very gracefully open for you to enter into the sacred space of this temple. And as you go into the temple, you recognize that you've entered into a massive hallway. We're all arriving here in this hallway. And as you look around, you notice that the ceiling is open, and just somehow with divine perfection, there is the crescent moon shining in the open ceiling into this beautiful chamber that we're in. As you look around, you see that there are just many, many hallways and doors, and everything is a brilliant golden color. All the walls, everything sparkles with magic. And you realize that you've entered into the temple without boundaries. So in this temple, in this safe and sacred space, we are contained. We're safe and protected here as the doors close behind us. And we're also in union in time and space, one community here in this spiritual experience together. So begin to take each other's hands in this sacred space, and just very naturally and gracefully we form a circle. A circle gives us the opportunity to feel and notice everyone that we're in community with. It's a level playing field. No one above anyone else. We're all here in sacred space together. So as we form this circle, we're going to go into our invocations. So you may notice where you are in your own room related to the four directions of east, south, west, and north. And turn and face east in your mind's eye where the sun rises. We're sending our hearts out and we're calling upon east, an element of air. I'm calling upon all the guides, guardians, allies, ancestors, angels, archangels, and protectors of east and of air. And in particular with east and air this time, we are asking for newness and freshness of new beginnings. New beginnings of a bright new sun dawning on a whole new day, opening and blessing and gracing the new chapter that we are beginning here today with the ceremony that we're in between the worlds now. We're in a pivot point between light and dark, asking for east to anchor us. Hail and welcome, east and air. And looking to the south and calling upon the element of fire and asking all the guides, guardians, allies, ancestors, angels, archangels, and protectors of south and of fire to please come and anchor our ceremony today. Bring your spark of creativity, bring your divine inspiration, bring our connection with spirit here and anchor us in our ceremony. Hail and welcome, south and fire. And calling upon the west and water, the rhythmic flows, and calling upon all the guides, guardians, allies, ancestors, angels, archangels, and protectors of west and of water to please arrive and to bless our sacred ceremony here today. And especially calling upon the purifying properties of the ocean, of salt water, to cleanse and clean us later in the ceremony as we make ourselves new, so that we can go into this new chapter, purity and innocence. And we call upon earth and north and all the guides, guardians, allies, ancestors, angels, archangels, and protectors of earth and of north to please arrive and to anchor our ceremony, to provide a solid foundation and to hear our prayers as we send them into the world to be manifested, calling upon earth and of north, calling upon the great below, the heartbeat of the Mother Earth, and calling upon all of the faces of the Divine Feminine to arrive and to be present here, all of the mothers, all of the goddesses, all of the holy women, asking for your divine feminine presence and for the presence of the consciousness of earth as we put our roots down. We welcome you. And turning our attention to the great above, to everything above us, to the stars, to the moon, to the sun, all of the principles of time, space, and dimension, and calling out now to the divine masculine principle and all the faces of the Father, all the gods, and the one God, all the faces of the divine masculine, asking you to please arrive here, bless and grace us in this ceremony, in this ritual together. I'd like to call upon our higher selves and all of our highest guides to please also be present here today. And I want to call the energy of children. We've called upon the Father and the Mother. We're beginning with new beginnings, and children are the best way to grace and bless our new beginnings. So calling upon the spirit of the child, the holy child, the baby light, the baby sun reborn to this night on solstice. And calling upon the fresh, clean snow, the energy of snow, that white blanket that covers us when we need to feel pure, when we need to feel quiet and still. We're calling upon the energies of snow and the properties of snow, and acknowledging the new moon, the beginning of the new moon, going into the darkness, the new moon of pure potential, calling upon the new moon. And then asking for all of you to please bring in the spiritual team that you consider close to your heart, a group of spirit beings who inspires you, whether that is just one for you or if that is a team for you. They're all welcome and invited here, and I feel them arriving. Thank you so much. So with all of these beautiful energies here together with us, I call upon the element of center. And center is really the primary element that we're working with today. And a lot of people are unfamiliar with what center is. And center is the pivot point between creation and destruction, between light and dark, manifestation and deconstruction. So we're going to be spending a lot of time in this place of pure potential. But there's another component of center that is really, really important to bring in to every ceremony, which is the unifying consciousness throughout all time, space, and dimension, which is divine love. So calling upon and blessing and gracing this ceremony with divine love. Letting all of these energies resonate throughout the temple without boundaries as we are prepared and ready now to begin our journey. So we're in circle formation, and in the center of our circle, a center of the floor begins to just magically dissolve. And I lead us towards that opening. Hold on to each other's hands as we go single file into the center of this room in the temple without boundaries. And we go down a sacred spiral staircase. And we go down, and as we go down, the golden light of the antechamber that we are in the temple without boundaries begins to fade away, and we find ourselves going into a darker and darker space, deeper inside the temple. Going down one flight of stairs, another flight of stairs, and you can feel the air temperature is changing. It's getting a little bit thicker, a little bit moister as you go down into the earth. Going down deeper. And finally, as you arrive, you notice that the sounds are very different here in this new space that we're in that is so dark. can only just barely make out the tiny, tiny circle that we came into this place from. There's a little teeny bit of light. And the only thing you can really see when you try to look back to where we came from is the very, very slender crescent of the new moon. And it's a little bit scary down here because you really can't see well enough. And it's a little scary because there's some unknown sounds that kind of echo off in the distance. And you get the impression that this space also has many, many hallways. Maybe they're caverns. It feels like we might be in a cave. Many, many hallways. And there's another sound too, kind of subtle, of water. Maybe a very distant sound of waves. So we're still holding hands. And because I know this space very, very well, I'm able to bring us back into a circle again in this very dark, dark place. In this moist air that it feels so thick on us and so confining in a way, feeling very confined by this darkness, confined by the shadows here. And you start to, it's very challenging to stay positive. You're thinking about some of the heavy things that occurred in 2014. Some of the challenges that you felt, some of the frustrations. We're in this circle here together. We're in this sacred space together here to initiate ourselves into a new year. And it's appropriate for us to think about what we want to let go of before we go into the new, so that the new has a place to be. We'll make room for it. So as your eyes gradually adjust to this very, very low light condition, there's just a tiny, tiny amount of light coming in from the moon that's so far away. But it gives you the idea that we are encircled around a sacred pool of water. In the center of our circle, with maybe a little stone container, there's some water that is in movement. And if you were to taste this water, which you are welcome to do now if you would like, if you tasted this water, it would be salty. And that's why you were able to hear the waves off in the distance, because the precious and pure ocean feeds this sacred pool of salt water, of ocean water here in the middle of our circle. And there's a very special property of salt water, which is its purifying property. This characteristic of salt water is that it can immediately neutralize whatever you put into it. So as you are feeling your shadows, as you are feeling your burdens from 2014 or anything that 2014 stirred up from prior times in your life, anything that you don't want to go into the future with, Now is the time to make these offerings of yourself into this salt water. So begin unburdening yourself now. And this is when I'm going to open up the lines on the meeting here, because it's healthy for us to make sound when we're doing this. So feel free to listen to yourself, to hear yourself speak, and you may sigh. You may feel yourself groaning. Oh. So you may find that you may need to take yourself off mute in order for people to hear you, but join in unburdening yourself. Oh, the tears that were shed this last year, the frustrations. Oh, the painful lessons. Why is it that we had to go through painful lessons instead of easy lessons? So everything that you can release now into this salt water. And this is a good time to call upon your higher self and your spiritual team of helpers and guides who are here, who can put their hand on your back and push more out. Oh. Oh, and if you want to put your hands in the salt water and put it on your body in this vibrational way, allow that salt water to cleanse you physically. Please go ahead and continue to release everything that no longer serves you in this life. Anything you do not want to take with you. So putting us back in listen-only mode. So as you reach this state of emptiness, acknowledge the purity and the preciousness here. Remember the fresh snow and the emptiness of the new moon, the crescent, the bowl that is empty, the crescent moon. Stay a while here in this emptiness. It's maybe not always a very comfortable place that we're in. But stay a while in this empty space, feeling yourself in a receptive mode in a way that you could receive. And when you feel truly, truly empty, when you feel truly, truly ready, connecting in with your heart now, and connecting in with your hopes and dreams for 2015. What is in your heart, waiting to be fulfilled? How would you like your life to be in 2015? What are your seeds? What are your intentions? What are your prayers? Connecting in with those beautiful thoughts and feelings, sensations, affirmations. How can you be bigger in 2015? How can you be greater? How can you be of even greater service? How could you rise up from the ashes of 2014 in such a way in 2015 that you surprise and delight yourself? What would that be like? Connect with all of these intentions, these dreams, these hopes, these wishes in your heart. And as you sit here in the darkness and connecting in with your hopes and dreams, there's a funny little sound that you hear off in the distance. Just a little laughter. It sounds like it's really far away and it's echoing. Is it? It sounds like laughter. And it's echoing around in this chamber that we're in, and we're looking around trying to find the source of this laughter. And it sounds like it must be a child's laughter. It's so joyful. And as you look around, the most amazing thing in the darkness above us, a little teeny spark appears. A little teeny spark of light, and the laughter begins to localize here above us in the center of our circle. And we notice that the sacred light of the new year is born, this baby energy, this joyful baby energy. And I invite you now to light your candles. I invite you to light your candles and to acknowledge the preciousness of this joyful moment. You may see a baby looking down on us from this bright space overhead. And we're starting to see that the room that we're in, and we couldn't possibly know what was in it, is also filled with jewels and crystals that refract off of the beautiful light in the center of our circle, shining down on us. He is looking at us. He's looking into each of our eyes. And connect with the joyfulness that he brings. The baby Sun King. His presence radiating through all of us. And now is the time to show the baby Sun King what is in your heart. What is in your heart for 2015? open your hearts now to this beautiful light energy, this joyful, joyful energy as the laughter continues to circulate and cycle around this chamber, this beautiful sacred cavern that we're in, lit up now, and a shaft of light, a ray of sunshine striking your heart now, connecting and blessing your heart. So open yourself to receive this magical, magical light. Oh. Calling in, calling that beautiful, precious light into your heart, opening yourself up to receive, and knowing that that light is through and through every single aspect of your dreams, your hopes, your intentions, letting that light purify and bless each and every corner of your heart. Any place in your heart that you especially released burdens from the prior year, let this love, light, sunshine come in, the pure innocence and joy of a child's laugh. Filling your heart to overflowing, giving you that incredible faith and knowledge and trust and hope above everything, that you too can be this innocent and this pure in your whole being. Bringing that light in, that fresh, clean, and pure light overflowing into your whole being now. As the light grows brighter and brighter and brighter, this whole overflowing, the chamber getting bright, washing you clean, purifying you, bringing that joy vibration into each and every one of you. So allow yourself to allow yourself to feel this cleansing and this cleaning, and drink this light in. Let it flow to overflowing. And use this light to bless yourself. First, to bless everything that you want to do in 2015. All of your hopes and dreams and intentions. Next thing we're going to do is, as we fill to overflowing, we are going to use our laughter to bless the world. And so I'm going to bring us back into an unmuted mode, and I would like you all to please laugh with me. I don't want to be the only one here, y'all. So take yourself off of mute now and join me in laughing and bringing this laughter and this joy energy into your heart, into your full being, radiating out, sending blessings to all of your spirit guides and your helpers in the form of gratitude and thanks, and filling yourself to overflowing. And now thinking of your families and standing in this light. Oh, yes. This is a wonderful way to start the year. Sing our community. And bringing us into the perfection of this moment, laughing. Everything we have to build our communities and to overflow into our families and bringing us together in this space where we are creating this crazy giant double cone of power. Ah, so feeling this going down and so as we, I'm sorry about the echo, but I'm just going to go with it for a little bit here. So bringing this laughter together and this double cone of power up and down, and as we bring this fullness into our hearts, as we overflow, and we are overflowing this love and light and laughter, and you feel the cone of power forming beneath us, in a circle beneath our feet, and a cone of power forming above us, pointing upwards, connecting in with our hearts into these cones, these wonderful, wonderful, bright, blessed, joyful, filled with laughter and joy, and our heart's content being fulfilled. And we bring this into a fever pitch, so laugh with me once again. Oh, and my dear friends, let us send these cones off to fly our prayers and our intentions out into the world where we are just back to our normal selves here, starting to go into our grounding mode as we let the earth receive our energy. I'm going to play a song for you. As we go into our grounding and release all the extra energy that we had. Let the earth receive our prayers. I'm sorry.
Look at the sun shining, wishing you happy birthday. Look at the sun shining, wishing you happy birthday. Look at the sun shining, wishing you happy birthday. Ayananeyo, 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 ayananeyo. Look at the sun shining.
So, bringing us back together here. And I really enjoyed sharing that with you. So we're going to go back into our, just finishing up our journey here. So we're in this beautiful chamber. And we're in our circle, and it's this bright, precious light. And the ceiling has opened up. We can see that the stairwell is right there, and we begin to single file following up the stairwell back, taking all these precious moments with us, the hopes and dreams, blessed and feeling ourselves full, filled to overflowing with the light. Rising back up all the spiral staircase and emerging back into the upper world of the temple, in the main open big space of this room. And if it were even possible, it was even brighter than before with the magic of what we have done. And really what that is that we have purified ourselves, and we can see more clearly now with the light shining from within us, the light shining from within our hearts. So while we're still here in the temple with all of our beautiful helper beings, with all the beautiful energies of snow, I'd like to let you know that this is a powerful working that we have done with ourselves, this releasing and then receiving. It's a powerful form of energy healing. And it may unfold over the next several months, days, hours. But here in the next couple of days, you're more likely to be vulnerable. We're really still in between. We're still in the darkness a little bit for the next few days. The official solstice is on Sunday early evening. And so I just would like to invite you to be cautious in how you treat yourself in the next few days. Keep yourself around really good people. Keep yourself in good cheer. Focus on the fulfillment that you received here today. Focus on everything that you're receiving now, that it's coming in for you, and that your hopes and dreams are being achieved. And especially focus in on that joyful laughter. So this candle that we lit is something that you can also keep and use throughout the year, especially any times that feel a little dark, any darkness that comes in this coming year. This beautiful candle will be something you'll be able to use in your ceremonies, and you can light other candles off of it if it burns down or before it burns down, and use that ceremony for your meditations. Use that candle in your meditations, especially in your manifestational meditations. And so I just wanted to let you know that this type of ceremony is a kind of a group healing, group energy healing, and I'll be conducting these once a month. That's my intention for this year. Conducting these once a month, and the next one will be on January 10th. So I invite you all to come back, and we'll be working with White Eagle and blessing our vision, blessing our clarity as we go into the new year, and being able to see our success at the end of the year. So come back for that and watch your email for that. And I also want to let you know that there is an opportunity to work with me individually in a very similar way. So if you would like to release and level up and go into a quantum leap in your life, if you have any patterns that you could use support with, then I will give you some information about how to do that at the end of this. So I want to give thanks to all of you for attending and making this very special for me. It's something that I, as I said, I'm very introverted this time of year, very internalized, and I am very grateful to share this personal and precious and intimate moment with you here in Center and in the temple. And I also want to give thanks to all the fantastic energies who are here. All of the snow and the sliver of moon and the temple without boundaries, and especially the joyful child spirits that we brought in with our laughter and our love and our light and the bells, and all of your helper guides and our higher selves and all of the wonderful precious beings that made this so special. So giving thanks and wrapping up and closing out the ceremony now and turning off the recorder. And before I do that, I want to invite people to stay a little bit longer and share in chat and on the phone to be able to just share as a community. And so it's a really good time to get out your we used to call it cakes and wine. Let's see, I've got it right here. To get out your food, and we can share a little bite to eat and something to drink. And so I'm going to turn off the recording now and allow us to have that community time. Thank you so much for coming into the temple. It's been very meaningful. And Merry Solstice.